in order to be a useful consultant / developer, you need to be working for clients. Those clients like you, the people around you like you, you're doing your basic stuff, you're not hard to manage, you're good to be around, all that kind of stuff. And then all the icing on the cake, which is not necessarily in your control.
G'day team, Adam Cogan here, and I'm here with Yuli. How are you, Yuli?
Very well.
Both of us do a lot of annual reviews with staff members, so we're evaluating mostly software developers, and it's a really important process for us and for the employee. Do you enjoy doing them?
I do. They've gone a little long. We've gotten a bit too into it, but we've recently pared that right down to the basics.
Right, yeah. So for context, for the longest time of the company, it was basically an all-day process. And then we, it's pretty important. There's a lot of things to teach them. There's a lot of things to learn from where they're at, what they want to do, set goals, etc. But we pared it down to the most important things. And really, to be a good consultant, there's just a few core things. You've got to be billable, and your client's got to be happy, right? And then you've got to check that the teammates are happy, and then it's the state managers. So the people that are doing this. This would affect you. So what annoys you? Chasing all the little things.
Yeah, so that's timesheets, being late, wearing the wrong things, not following the basic processes, having to be chased for things, just taking up management energy to make you do the right stuff for the normal basic stuff.
Right. And I think the biggest thing of that is kind of the participation, the energy they give, can be from lunchtime to the company retreats and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So then once that's done, the last bit of that is really, have they completed the KPIs they set the year before? And that is the guts of a good engineer.
That's the must-haves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's all the little extras. So what's some little extras?
Well, the icing.
Yes.
The icing on the cake, well, you've got whether they've presented, if they've got a profile where they're starting to get known as a thought leader in a space. So they might be doing, in our case, user groups or videos on our SSW TV.
Right. So it can be just a bit of social media, liking the post, doing that type of stuff. And then it's how they're helping when they're not on a project. So in our case, doing a spec review, which is when the client has gone past the first step of an initial meeting and they want to spend a few days and work out the scope of their project.
Yeah, so you're starting to help out in pre-sales of that as well as just development.
Right. And then the next thing would be how many initial meetings. They're just jumping on calls and, they're not always in control of that. But if they are hungry and they're telling people like you that they want to be on these and it's clear what areas they want to work with, they can really help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's plenty of other things that they can do. They can do, in our case, Microsoft exams. They can be updating our rules site, okay?
Yeah, so our rules is our documentation of our processes and all our best practices. In our case, our rules are public, but we also have some internal ones on Sugar Learning.
Yep, and the intranet.
And on the internet.
Yeah, so we have a report which shows how many public rules they've updated, the updates on the SharePoint intranets, and the update on Sugar Learning, which is our learning management system. From there, we measure sprint reviews.
Yeah. So are they helping out with the communication inside the Scrum process as well? Are they facilitating those meetings? Are they scribing? Are they sending out those emails?
Yeah. And then we CC a special email address, and that's how we get that automated report of their sprint reviews. So then it's helping others. And helping others, we have a report that comes out of Eagle Eye, which, do you want to just hope that?
Eagle Eye is an AI system that helps understand the intent of some emails. So if people are checking each other's work, they might say checked by Adam, and then that will go into a report to say, oh, you had a whole bunch of emails that said checked by Adam.
And really, the only other final thing is mentoring. So we have a little system, but maybe people do it informally, but we do it more officially, where you help someone out. It's a call once a month. It might be a little bit more than that, but that gets tracked, and it's essentially from a SharePoint list when it all comes down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So The only other one I think of is their inbox. So
Yeah, is it under control?
yes. Now, obviously, you want to be using the ticketing system, your
Backlogs.
Azure DevOps or GitHub issues. But a lot of communication happens with email as well, and tasks get sent that way. They should be replied to, killed, and then your inbox is manageable. So that's just that. So that's it. Easy to do an annual review, hey?
There's the one last thing, which is chewing the fat. It's a bit hard to explain, but we send out a weekly Microsoft form which highlights a rule or a video or a sugar learning item or something. It gives a bit of training and a bit of teaching. That takes a bit of extra work. And it's a bit more icing on the cake if the developers helped out building one of those forms.
So a lot of developers, in our case, will help with aligning the company, educating the company, and that's like an internal learning thing. So every company does that a little differently.
Yeah,
that's how we do it.
And the important thing is to realize that we talked about two areas there. There's the must-haves. In order to be a useful consultant/developer, you need to be working for clients. Those clients like you, the people around you like you. You're doing your basic stuff. You're not hard to manage. You're good to be around. All that kind of stuff. And then all the icing on the cake, which is not necessarily in your control. Sometimes you might not get an opportunity to speak at a user group. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you're not called into an initial meeting. Sometimes you are. You can often influence this, but you haven't necessarily got direct control. So we put a lot more weight on the must-haves and less weight on the nice-to-haves.
Yeah. And I might finish with some advice I once learned from a client down in Canberra, where we're talking about why they use SSW. I just like your guys. And I go, oh, that's great. Why do you like it? Us over others just trying to learn? And he goes, it comes down to the 3 A's. What are they? Well, they're affable, they're friendly, they've got ability, like they're competent, and they're available. So hopefully that was useful. If you've got any other ideas, throw it down there in the comments. We're always keen to learn. Thank you, Yuli.
No worries.
And this is Adam Cogan signing off for SSW TV.